but spend some time, and you absolutely should spend some time at the different networking events that are going on while you're at SBC in order to learn more about people on a more personal level. That doesn't mean that meeting potential clients is not important, and you should definitely take advantage of all the different government agencies that have tables set up and booths set up, and they're there to talk to you. That's why they're there. We always make sure we stop in and say hi. Where that's really, really important is once you leave SBC and you're putting in a bid and somebody walks into the small business person's office and they say, have you ever heard of this company? They say, yeah, I just met them at SBC, or I met them for the last 3 years at SBC, and they're obviously an engaged and committed contractor. In-person above board networking, essentially what that means is everybody there is there to communicate with one another, whether they're on the government side or they're a large prime or another small business looking for a partner. Everybody is there to network and have communications. You don't have to worry about having conversations about anything that it would conflict with FAR, because that's the purpose of everybody being there, is to share information, knowledge. They'll talk about upcoming events or upcoming opportunities, and that's one of the reasons to be there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that you should attend as many educational opportunity sessions as you possibly can. I'm not just saying that because I'm speaking at 9 o'clock on a Friday morning in New Orleans, which I'm sure everybody will be up bright and early. But not just mine, but other sessions there's just a wealth of information. In years past, our company's been interested in exploring opportunities outside the U.S., and I've seen panels discussing OCONUS opportunities. There's always panels of contractors telling you best and worst case scenarios and lessons learned. There are usually several different legal panels that are put together so that you can make sure you stay in complete compliance and leverage all the opportunities that are outside, as well as contract officers and project managers and briefings of what's coming forward. Ultimately, I'd say the most important thing is think outside the box. Attending a conference is all about building your network. And building your network is not necessarily just about collecting cards. It's about an exchange of knowledge. The people that you give information to and they give information to you, and you take the time to listen, you're going to find out that it pays dividends and returns. And that's what we found out. So that is my little snapshot of the benefits of attending SBC. But you already know that because you're on the call.
Great, thank you. Just a few facts and figures for you. Currently, we've got just over 400 exhibiting companies and government agencies in our exhibit hall, and you can see the breakdown of the demographic representation. And we've got just over 2,300 individual attendees. We've got folks registering daily, and if you're concerned about the percentage of government representatives, they, as you probably can imagine, many of them cannot register until after the start of the new fiscal year, so we're seeing more and more government folks being added. Right now, we are very well ahead of the number of registrants that we had at the same time last year for the Small Business Conference. So we expect to have over 3,000 individuals for the SBC. And I think everyone is probably aware that we have a co-location happening this year with the Department of Veterans Affairs, National Veteran Small Business Engagement, Construction Industry, Targeted Industry Engagement. And with both groups combined, we expect to have more than 4,000 people in New Orleans. So this is why it really is so very important to be prepared before you get there. So how can you identify people when we are on site? So this may seem trivial, but it is important. Everyone, their badge holder is color coded. So folks who have an orange strip at the top of their badge, they are representing the government. Green, folks, that means they're an attendee. Blue means that they are with a company or an agency that is exhibiting in the hall. I will say, though, any government agency that's exhibiting in the hall, they will still have the orange badge. And anyone with a gray holder, that means they are a one-day only registrant. So, if you come across them on Wednesday, it does say the day that they're attending, they're not going to be back tomorrow. So make sure you capitalize on your conversation that day. And then, of course, we've got ribbons to further identify people. The ribbons are self-select, so you can choose a ribbon that says 8A, SDVOSB, and so forth. I do want to remind you during this webinar, if you have any questions, to use the chat functionality that's in the taskbar on your screen. So just a little more insight into our attendees. We are expecting well over 200 representatives from Army Corps of Engineers and other Army personnel, a good number of folks from Air Force, NAVFAC, Departments of Veterans Affairs, Energy, Department of State, Small Business Administration, and we've got some other government agencies too. We've got a couple folks from NASA coming, GSA. So the opportunities are endless. Again, people are still signing up every day. So let's get down to the navigation. Okay, so in-person networking. Mario, did you want to say a couple words about this, perhaps?
Absolutely. So, again, I go for education sessions, but first and foremost is the opportunity to network and visit with different people, both customers and potential teaming partners. The matchmaking meeting sessions with the government agencies and large prime contractor businesses doing federal work are a must attend, especially if you're brand new breaking in, or if you're somebody that if there's agencies that you've been trying to work with, or large prime contractors that you've wanted to do some subcontract work with. This is a great place to meet them. They're all in one spot, but you gotta register for those matchmaking meetings. If you haven't done so, jump on it because they fill up pretty fast. Another thing that people need to make sure you recognize is that with 2,300 people and growing in attendance, it is really important not to just show up and hope that you run into that person you want or people that you want to meet. Get on the attendees registration center, download the attendee list, start looking through, identifying target markets, research those companies. Looking for partners or looking to provide work for an agency is a lot like if you're an employer and somebody's coming in and applying for a job. None of us want to hire somebody that hasn't taken any time to get to know our company or our culture or where we're working or what we're doing. And the same is true when you're going to introduce yourself to somebody that you want to work with from a business-to-business standpoint. Make sure you review that attendee list, look up that business, utilize tools like the Federal Procurement Data Services at pds.gov to type in their company information and look up the amount of contracts they've received and target. I usually get emails from folks, hey, I see you're registered and coming to SBC. I'd love to sit down and visit with you. Here's and you exchange contact information. They send me theirs. I send them mine ahead of it so that it's easy for us to locate one another while we're there because it's a big location and a big event. So that ties into doing your research. The other part is don't do what I'm doing right now, which is don't do all the talking. Make sure you're listening. That's just as important. I know when I first started attending SAME small business conferences, one of the things that I needed to learn was the vocabulary of my clients. Having not come out of the military or not having done government work before, it was understanding what the vocabulary was, how they talked about their needs. And the only way you can do that is listen and take notes when you get back to your hotel room or when you step away from the conversation. And then finally, there's a lot of engineers that are involved in SAME, and not every engineer is known as an extrovert. So don't be afraid. push that inner extrovert that you've been hiding and step in and break into circles. Even if you're standing on the outside and listening intently, you'll be surprised how many folks, if you move close enough, will turn around and engage you in the conversation. So, but by all means, make eye contact, smile, introduce yourself to people. Know that everybody that is there to meet folks. And so you can't go wrong. Next slide. Educational opportunities. I mentioned this a little bit earlier. There's 32 education sessions, and they're organized by track. I have a confession to make. This is probably being recorded, so then I'll be in trouble. But my first event, I didn't go to very many education sessions. In fact, now the more I know, the more education sessions I actually show up to, because there's new information that, I mean, we're in a dynamic industry and a dynamic business. Regulations are changing all the time. People are coming up with new procurement strategies, new ways of operating, managing, and leading their businesses. And the folks that are leading these education sessions are really subject matter experts in their field. I can tell you from behind the scenes that the speakers this year to lead those 32 education sessions, there were over 100 people who submitted abstracts to speak. And so it was really narrowed down to folks that we believe had something to add to those in attendance at the Small Business Conference. Don't miss them. They're worth the price of admission. There are 14 business opportunity briefings. Those are the other things that you definitely want to make sure you attend. Those opportunity briefings are about upcoming solicitations, both this year and in the future. They're very often at a very high level, so they give you an idea. You start getting a handle on which way the industry is going. Is it going to be more spending in FY19 than FY20? Is it going to be less? Where is the spending going to be? Is it going to be in sustainment, renovation, modernization, SRM work, or is it going to be in no-con work? Those are the type of things you want to attend, listen to, what locations are going to see the most dollars geographically, so that you can use that information, take it back to your office, and utilize it for targeting opportunities all year long. There are 3 plenary sessions. That's when the whole large group comes together. Make sure you have plenty of business cards through all the sessions. You should be handing them out to the neighbors next to you at the education sessions because they're interested in the same things you are. You should definitely bring them to the plenary sessions, which very often revolve around meals. And make sure you talk to everybody at your table, as well as listen to what's being said up on that stage. And then I'd encourage you, especially if you're a small business, every business, to check out the council and committee meetings. The Small Business Council, that's the plug I'm going to give, has a first-time attendees workshop going on and has some good information, and that is those are great places to start connecting with people that then you'll reconnect with throughout the event in New Orleans. So don't miss those. Basically, it's just go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Mario. I was just going to mention to everyone that we will be recording all of our sessions. So a lot of times it really is difficult for people to decide, when there's 7 or 8 sessions happening in one time, which one to go to. But just for everyone to know, we will be recording them, so you'll be able to access them after the fact. So that should make you feel a little better about what choices you have, because you won't miss the content in the other sessions, and all of the presentations will be posted on the website as well.
And I'd add to that the sessions, as you'll see kind of in the light gray on your screens, they're organized by track. Even if you're just marketing business or focused on marketing business development or entering the federal marketplace, make sure you try a couple different tracks, because I guarantee you'll find a lot of information.
Absolutely.
So still me. Number 3, learn about finding teaming partners. Again, like I said on the previous slide, make sure you're doing your research ahead of when you show up. So what are you trying to look for when you actually get there? Because the content, who people are, what they've done, what contracts they've landed, who their customers are, that you can do that research ahead of time. What you can't do is and what's very important from finding a teaming partner is there a culture match? That's where, if you've done all your research, they'll give you their elevator pitch, you'll give your elevator pitch, but hopefully over the course of the event, not only at their booth, but maybe during some of the different networking events around town and the different social activities, you'll learn a little bit more about who they are, a little more detail about what services they provide, because not everybody can put all their services on their website. And a lot of times there's folks who have niches that you've found hard to fill, and that's a good way to start a teaming relationship. You can also utilize this as an education opportunity to find out from other small businesses that are either walking through the exhibit halls or at different sessions, or people on the other side, what makes a good teaming partner for that large company. Ask a small company, what's made a good teaming partner for them? Which large businesses have a robust business development team that's interested in working with smaller businesses? What capabilities can you add to the team? And again, it's about listening as much as it is about talking. You want to make sure that you're presenting your capabilities in a succinct manner, but then you're spending some time listening. I'd also point out that there's a huge opportunity when you're standing there waiting to talk to the person on the other side of the table and somebody else is talking to them, to make sure that you're listening to the conversation that's going on. You can pick up an incredible amount of tidbits and ways to position your own company by listening to how your competitors are. Clients, there's a lot of them there. So you saw that early slide, 7%. Government, as Ann said, that registration is going to keep climbing. I have yet, in 7 years of attending a small business conference, even when the government wasn't allowed to travel to these conferences or was very limited into who they could send, I have yet to attend one where it is not full of DoD representatives, small business liaisons, contract officers, lots of folks, and they're all there to talk to you. So sometimes it's hard. You call them or you shoot an email to their office, and they're being inundated by emails, just like we all are, day in and day out. But here's a chance to get a couple minutes of their time one-on-one and have a real conversation and start a dialogue. Understand that it is about starting a dialogue. I would caution anybody from saying, hey, how come nobody gives me a contract? I've got the certification for 3 years or 5 years and I can't get anything. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes, hey, why don't you, when will you give me something? I mean, that's not what we're there for. That's the aggressive marketing. That's a little bit over the top. That's not really the kind of how this stuff should work. What it should work is you begin a dialogue and you may present your capability statement. Personally, I actually never bring one printed because, again, we walk away with these things, and you walk away from these things with so many different printed materials, and sometimes you get back to the office and you got to play catch up and you never get through them. But I do get business cards, and I do turn around and ask the person, hey, can I send you a capability statement when I get back to the office? And that's a good way, because you'd be surprised at how many people never, ever follow up after attending an SBC or any other marketing conference. So that's the better marketing than to push and ask and beg for a contract on the spot, because that's just not going to happen. Now, there is exceptions to every rule, but it hasn't happened for me.
Great pointers, Mario. So when you take all of those tips and goals, I think it's important for people to really, before they go somewhere to a conference such as this, to really think about what is most important to me and what am I trying to get out of it. And from there, you're going to get ready for the conference. And this is a listing of all of the resources on the SBC website. It really is set up to help you plan and prepare, so when you get on site, you are organized and you can hit the ground running. So some of our tips here are definitely review the conference schedule. The next order of business is to make those networking roundtable appointments. Look for exhibitors, figure out which sessions that you want to attend. You're going to review the attendee list, and then, of course, you can download handouts after the conference. So the key to all of this is our attendee service center on the website. When you registered, you received a password that's in your confirmation letter, and you're going to use that to log in. And this is the handy dandy link to the attendee service center. So let's check it out. So this is our SBC website, as you can see. So let's check out the schedule at a glance first. This is giving you a high-level view of what is happening on each day. And you can see in some of the time frames, there's a plus sign. That means there's multiple things happening at that time. And if you click the plus sign, it is going to give you the listing of all of the items happening on that time, along with a little bit of description. So for example, the Small Business Council meeting from 9:30 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on Wednesday is in room 220 to 222. Oh, I clicked on young members. In any case, it gives you a little bit of a description there. So that kind of helps you decide and see what's happening when, and what do I want to go to in these different time frames. So let's then take a look at the Attendee Service Center. And I have already logged in, so it remembered me, thankfully. When you log into the Attendee Service Center, this is what you are going to see. Let's talk first about the, I'm probably going in out of order, so I apologize for that. Let's talk about the networking roundtables really quick. So if you click on this left-hand menu item, networking roundtables and itinerary builder. Again, the networking roundtables are open only to small businesses, and government agencies and large businesses are the hosts of those. But the itinerary builder is open to everyone. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the itinerary builder first, and then we'll talk about the networking roundtables. So when you open,
right now
go ahead.
We're just seeing the Small Business Engagement 2018 Firefox screen. So we're not seeing our tutorial.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see here. Is that better?
There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you. Okay. So let's go back a little bit. Did you see the schedule at a glance or no?
No.
You did not. Okay, let's go back to the schedule at a glance. My apologies to everyone. Okay, on the website again, if you click on schedule here at this top menu bar, you can see the schedule at a glance. This is again a high-level view of everything happening at each time. And this plus sign in a certain time frame means there's multiple things happening in that time. When you click the plus sign, it will list all the items at that time. You can click on the title, and then it is going to show you some more information about that. Let us then go to the order that I previously was going to discuss. The exhibit hall. So if you click on exhibits here all across the top, you will come up with this lovely floor plan of the convention of the exhibit hall. Because the hall is so big, unfortunately, and because this website is set up to appear on mobile devices as well, you do need to pan left and right or up and down in order to see the entire exhibit hall. And when you put your mouse over any of these booths, it is going to tell you the company that occupies that booth and a little bit of a description about the company. But the page has this great search functionality on it. So you can search for a company by name, by booth number, by product category, by NAICS code. So for example, if you are looking for a teaming partner to bring forth some services in a different NAICS code that you do not offer, you can select the NAICS code, click on search, and then it is going to list all of the companies who have indicated that that is their NAICS code. So this really comes in handy. I highly recommend that everyone does look through the exhibit hall beforehand and make a list of the companies that you must see, that you want to see, and that would be nice to see if you have time. With over 400 companies in the hall and so many things happening at once, you really do have to be organized if you are going to try and visit with the companies that you want to visit. And the itinerary builder, which we will get to in just a minute, allows you to bookmark exhibitors and create your own personalized floor plan of all of the companies that you have designated. So before we get to that, let's just take a look at our sessions page really quickly. And this is going to list all of the conference sessions that are taking place during the conference. Again, when you go to the page, it defaults to list every single session that is occurring throughout the 3 days. Or you can search by track. As Mario mentioned earlier, our education sessions are divided into 4 different tracks. And then there are the business opportunity sessions. So for example, if you are just breaking into the federal marketplace, maybe you want to just look at the sessions in that track. You highlight the track, hit search, and then it's going to narrow down all of the sessions that are in that track. For example, you can search by a speaker last name, hit search, and it's going to give you all of the sessions for that speaker. So definitely a great way for you to be organized. And again, you can bookmark sessions within our attendee service center, and it will create a personalized schedule for you. So speaking of that, we will go over to the attendee service center now. Okay, great. So in the Attendee Service Center, again, this is the page that you are going to see once you are logged in. And if you head over to the Networking Roundtables and Itinerary Builder menu item, you're going to get to this page and you see these 3 tabs at the top: Search, Appointments, and Profile Setup. So let's talk a little bit about the Itinerary Builder first. As I mentioned, you can create your personalized list of exhibitors here in this exhibitor search. So for example, you want to look at all exhibitors with this NAICS code. It is going to pull those up, and you can simply click this button here to bookmark them and add them to your personalized itinerary. So you can use this feature, or you can use the exhibit hall page in order to create your list of exhibitors. Sometimes it's helpful to use the other one because you've got the floor plan in front of you, but you do have to use this tool here if you want to create the personalized itinerary. This then also is what you can use to do the sessions. You want to click on the session button. Again, you've got the search here. Let's search by business opportunities. I've already gone in and I said, oh, now I've double booked myself, so I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to put this one on, and it's going to add those to my itinerary. At the bottom of the page here, you see this PDF itinerary. I'm going to just click on that. It opens it up, and let me make sure that you can see the itinerary here. So it's going to come up with this great personalized itinerary for you. On the first page, it is showing my networking roundtable appointments, and we'll get to that in just a moment. On the second page, it is showing me my booked marked sessions and then also my exhibitors here at the bottom. And there is a page for the floor plan, which I think we have not open yet, but we will get that added on. So you can print this out ahead of time and feel super organized when you arrive. Let's go back to
and how do we get to the attendee service center again?
Okay, so if you are on the website here, the easiest thing, so on most of the pages, there is this menu item that says Service Centers. You can click on Service Centers, then click on Attendee Service Center. My mouse is freezing. And then you typically, I'm already logged in, so then on this here you would see a login, and then this is the page you see once you're logged in.
Service
There's
Center
also,
is not an, I'm on the website now. Service Center is not an option on there right now.
okay, if you're on the home page, and then you just click on Attend, you should see those buttons.
Gotcha, thanks.
You're welcome. Good question. If anyone else has any questions, please do use the chat functionality in your GoToMeeting taskbar. So let's go back here. And then let's talk about the networking roundtables a little bit. I'm just going to take a look at some of the questions. A person asked the question, does the directory handed out on site include a map of exhibitors? Great question. We do have a printed program that lists all of the exhibitors. It has the exhibit hall floor plan printed out. It has a list of all of the sessions that are taking place. If you do prefer hard copy, absolutely we have that resource for you. Okay, so back to the networking roundtables. Again, the networking roundtables are open to representatives of small businesses only, and we've got government agencies and large businesses who are hosting tables. So here is where you are going to search, again, for table hosts. You use the exhibitors button for the search, and let's say I am going to look for all of the government agencies. So this is showing me all of the government agencies who are either exhibiting or hosting a table. Now you can see I've scrolled down, for example, here, the USAID South Atlantic Division. It says restricted here. What this means is they are either not hosting or all of their times are already filled. And that is what that means. So you cannot make an appointment with them. Any of the other organizations, if you want to make an appointment with them, you just click on this calendar icon and it will bring up another screen. I'm going to show you that now. And it brings up this screen here. No, let's see here. I'm sorry about that. This is just, let's see if I can get it to show the correct screen. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So you can see this host, you see the times for each day, Thursday and Friday. So an X in a row means they're not available at that time. If you want to make an appointment with them, you simply click the radio button next to the time that you would like, scroll on down, and it is always a really great idea in the notes field to send a note. So here you can say, hi, I am a high performer and have worked with USACE Atlanta. And send them a note about why you're interested in meeting with them or what have you. And when the table host receives your appointment request, they are going to see your note. So that is always a great idea to complete. And then you're going to click request appointment. I am not going to do that right now because this is a live table host and I don't want to take the time away from someone else. You click request appointment, and then the appointment request goes to the table host. Now, the table hosts do need to either approve or decline your appointment. You should not assume that just because you have requested an appointment that they are going to accept your appointment. Unfortunately, we do request that the table host respond to the appointments in a timely manner. That doesn't always happen. Unfortunately, we can't force it to happen. But in any case, that's the way it works. And if you have requested an appointment, this calendar icon is going to change in color. Let's take a look at the appointments that I have already made. So if you go to this appointment tab here, you can see the appointments that I have made. I made an appointment with Test Company, and they accepted the appointment. You can see here because the icon matches the approved. Now, I requested an appointment from Test Company number 2. They declined the appointment. Unfortunately, SAME does not always know why a host has declined an appointment. We do request that they would send you a note because they also have the ability to send notes when they decline or accept the appointment. So hopefully they would communicate that with you. And as noted here, we are saying please only make 3 appointments at this time. So in the start out of this, we are asking that you only request 3 appointments in advance because these appointments are very limited. Obviously, they're in demand, and while the early bird gets the worm, it's not entirely fair to your other colleagues if you make an appointment with every single person and they don't get to make any. So when we go on site, if there are appointments available, you will be allowed to make additional appointments if you already have made 3. So going along the itinerary page here, so this is showing you all of your appointments. It shows you your bookmark sessions, and again, it shows you your exhibitors. And if you open the PDF itinerary, it is listing all of these things for you. So that is our great networking roundtable and itinerary builder. Everyone does also have the profile setup tab. I highly recommend that you look at this profile setup. You make sure that it is accurate and it is up to date, because again, when you ask the table host for an appointment, they can see all this information about you. So you want to make sure it's accurate, it's up to date. So they might look at that and they might say, oh my goodness, I've been searching for a company that is Hub Zone. I absolutely need to take this appointment. So definitely make sure that your profile is up to date. And that is a great networking roundtable. I am going to go back to our PowerPoint here. We talked about searching for exhibitors and sessions. We talked about making appointments. Again, use the search tab and the exhibitor button to look for the host. Once you've chosen your host, the new page will pop up and you will see the open appointment times or block times and hit request appointment to send in your request. And your itinerary tab shows you all of your appointments, whether they be pending, accepted, or declined. The reason the declined is there is so you don't keep asking the same host for an appointment. And it lists all of your exhibitors and your sessions as well. So a little bit more on the networking roundtables. We are getting requests from companies and government agencies to host as time goes by. So definitely check back and see if any more have been added. For example, last week we spoke with the folks at AFCEC, Air Force Civil Engineer Contracting, or whatever the acronym stands for. I apologize, I do know. And they asked us, oh, we need 5 more tables. So, for example, they were just added last week. NAVFAC recently also just added some as well. The networking roundtables are taking place in Hall C1 and 2. It is connected to the exhibit hall, so you can get to the area either from the exhibit hall or from the outside corridor. This is showing you the times that the networking roundtables are taking place. We do have 2 of our wonderful SAME National Office staff who will be available for help if you need to get your itinerary printed out, if you have some question about appointments, they can help you. And definitely we ask you to please honor all the appointments in your schedule. These are very limited, so if you don't show up to an appointment, there could be another small business that could have been there. Unfortunately, SAME is not responsible for making sure your schedule is accurate or accepting or denying the appointments, etc. So please do make sure that you are on top of that, but we are here to help you in any way that we can. Very essential regarding the networking roundtables is preparation. So before you leave home, make sure that you have brought business cards, brought copies of your capabilities statement. Do your research on the hosts that you have appointments with. You don't want to show up not knowing what is going on. Remember that these appointments, there will be multiple small businesses at the table with you. This is not a one-on-one meeting. So it's really not for you to be pitching your business to the table host. It's for you to learn more about the table host, the opportunities that they have coming up, and really beginning that dialogue. So curate a list of questions that you have for your table host based on your research. You know, you could say, oh, I noticed in the past you seem to really favor companies that are, you know, local or whatever it is. So write down those questions, and remember that others at the table, they will have questions of their own, like Mario said earlier, that you can listen to and you can learn from. And while it is not a pitch for your company, make sure that you have a really great less than 1 minute introduction. I'm Ann McLeod. I'm the Director of Meetings for SAME, and SAME connects the public and private sector on in support of our nation's security and infrastructure. So that's a great pitch, and it can lead to some more questions that maybe will get you a foot in the door later. Making the meeting a success. Again, this is not a one-on-one meeting. Be respectful of everyone at the table. Don't do all the talking. This is your opportunity to listen to the table host in a very small group setting. Be prepared to learn. And remember, this is not going to turn into a contract tomorrow, but in 3 months from now, in 3 years from now, it really could be the one thing that you built a foundation of a relationship with the table host. So have your realistic expectations for sure. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit now about our co-location with the Department of Veterans Affairs construction industry, targeted industry engagement. This is a former segment of their traditional NVSBE, which stands for National Veterans Small Business Engagement. If anyone out there has been to the NVSBE in the past, I just want to let you know that the only segment of the NVSBE that will be there is the construction-related industry. The other industries will not be in attendance. So the VA is bringing almost 250 of their procurement decision makers. So it is a fantastic opportunity to meet the actual buyers from the VA if you are interested in doing business with the VA. They have their own business opportunity sessions, and there are about 190 of them. So there are a lot. They also have networking roundtables and the NVSBE and all of these things, because it is a separate event, although it's in the same location, they do have a different tools than we have for SBC. If you want to participate in any of the NVSBE activities, we do need to know that, because a login needs to be created for you on the NVSBE scheduling system. If you are registered for SBC and you did not indicate that you would like to participate in NVSBE, please send us a note so we are able to update your registration record and add that, and that way a login can be created for you. So let's check out the NVSBE system. Here we go. I am already logged in to their system, and when you log in, you're going to see this dashboard. Now, what's very essential on the NVSBE system is your profile. So when you initially set up your profile, you've got to make sure that you have this all set up. There's a lot of questions on here that you are going to complete. Once you've got your profile complete, I'm going to come back to the dashboard here. And you will see here these 4 areas, the profile, My Meeting Maker. The My Meeting Maker is going to match you up based on your profile with the buyers from the VA. So I am going to click on See Matches, and it is going to bring up all of my matches. Now, in my profile, I basically said that I was a small business, that I did construction and engineering. So this is going to bring up the list of the buyers from the VA. And you can see if the sessions that that buyer is participating in. Dining with decision makers, so that's that. You can look at his profile and so forth. Let's see. Okay, so for example, this person here, Terry Boyd, we're going to do request meeting. This is showing the time that Terry is available for a networking roundtable. So you're just going to click on that and send requests to get the networking roundtable. So unfortunately, because we've got the 2 separate systems, if you want to do a networking roundtable with one of the VA buyers, you do have to use this system. In order to see the session, we're going to come up here to this My Meeting Maker. We're going to click on View All Sessions. And you can search here by session date and time, by activity type. So let's just click on Business Opportunity Session. And this is going to update that. So this is showing you all of the business opportunity sessions that they have going on. I have already bookmarked this one. That's why that is there. And this does not allow you to double book yourself. So you can see here where it says you have a different meeting. It's not going to let me add that one to my schedule. Let's see on a different page how this looks. So if you wanted to attend this session, for example, you're just going to hit attend this session and it's going to add it to your schedule. And then up here, I can look at my schedule and I can see everything that I have got going on. Now, I will say that in the NVSBE system, they do have all of the SBC sessions loaded into their system. So if you are, plan to spend a heavy amount of your time with the NVSBE side of things, you can just work on this side of things. But again, with the networking roundtable appointments, you do have to use each event's different system in order to request those appointments. So that is it for the demos of our different systems, but I think the last point to remember is when you go to these things, think outside of the box. With so many people going to be at the conference, so many sessions, so many networking roundtable appointments, lots of exhibitors in the hall, you really need to make sure that while you are organized, that you can also think out of the box at the same time. So listen for opportunities that you never even considered. If you go on site thinking, oh gosh, I have a big hole in my schedule, we need to get some work for November of 2019 in construction, but somehow you come across something else, wow, don't be so hyper-focused that you miss out on other opportunities. Of course, foster new relationships, be open to something new, go beyond the status quo in support of our nation's infrastructure. I think we can't always do things the way we've already have been, and don't assume you already know it all, because certainly we don't. The SAME Events app. Definitely highly recommend that you download the SAME Events app. In your app store, you want to search for SAME Events, and then once you have downloaded it, when you open the app, if you already have the app, for example, you are going to open it up, click this start button, and then, for example, if you came to JETC and had the app, you will see the JETC information here. You want to click on events, and then you're going to pick the SBC 2018 app. The app should be available in the App Store next week. We're just putting the final tweaks on it. In the app, you can search for exhibitors, sessions, and speakers. It is hooked up to your itinerary, so you can create your itinerary on site, and then you can use the app as well to look up your itinerary. So, for example, on the app, because of course we can't do a real-time demo, I've just got a few screenshots here. So in the main menu item, you can come up with an exhibitor list, and it will list all the exhibitors by alphabetical order. And if you wanted to request an appointment from an exhibitor, you're going to pull up their, pull them up, and you can see you're able to schedule an appointment with them. If you just touch that, it is going to bring up their appointment times, and you can make an appointment with them similar to the way that you do it in the Attendee Service Center. There is an attendee list on the app. And so you want to, if you click on the My Planner, it's going to come up with your profile. Again, right here, make profile public. You are going to be shown on that attendee list unless you unclick that. People will message you through the app. It's not sharing your email address or anything like that, so I just wanted to point that out. And again, this My Planner button is where you are going to see your list of bookmark exhibitors. This is where you can see your networking roundtable appointment, whether the appointment has been confirmed, if it's pending, if it was declined. And this is going to show you all of the sessions that you have bookmarked. If you want to add more sessions, you can click on this filter up here. So right now, this screenshot is showing you all days. You can click on this and you can filter by track or other different ways. So I just wanted to point that out for everyone. Okay, so putting all of this information together, I know it's a lot, and again, this webinar is being recorded. If you want to listen to it again, if some of your colleagues have not participated and you want to share it with them, definitely recommend doing that. So definitely, you need to set your goals, prepare appropriately, and plan your schedule. Time is of the essence. The 3 days go by so fast. And of course, we're in New Orleans, a fun town, and networking happens in the convention center, in your hotel lobby, in the restaurant. So just make sure that you use your time wisely. Make sure you know when and where the sessions you need are taking place. Plan for some gaps in time, and also do plan for a diversion. For example, if you and Mario have been talking for a while, you've never met face-to-face, and you're headed to a session that you wanted to attend and run into Mario in the hall who says to you, "Oh, hey, Ann, I'm not doing anything right now. Can we sit down and talk for 30 minutes? You need to be able to say to yourself, okay, you know what? Talking with Mario is more important to me than going to the session. The session's recorded. I will listen to it after the fact. Use the SBC website to accomplish your goals. Make sure you do further market research. Plan, plan, plan. And as Mario said, follow up after the conference. It is one of the biggest mistakes people make, is coming back from a conference, being exhausted, you're out of the office, you need to catch up, you need to circle back, reconnect with your family. But don't forget to follow up on the leads and the connections that you made while you're on site. And of course, document the ROI of attending the SBC and share your feedback with us. We will have a survey going out after the show. If you don't get the survey, if you want to send us a note, go ahead and send it to us. We love your feedback. We care very greatly about your experience. And we don't know if we're doing something wrong unless you tell us. So please do share that with us. And of course, our Small Business Council also is prepared to take your feedback. Mario, who's on the call, is the vice chair of the council. Karen Buniak is our chair. And I know that they and all of the other members of our executive team are really open to hearing your candid and upfront feedback about how it all went. As I said, we do care about your experience. The SAME staff, about 20 of our 24 staff will be there in New Orleans. We're available for you. So look for us in our daily uniforms. We wear a different colored shirt every day or a red fleece. Our volunteers will be wearing a light blue fleece. We're available at the registration desk at all times. There is an SAME booth in the exhibit hall. We've got our networking roundtable concierges available for you, and of course the post-conference survey that I have already mentioned. And this is just showing you, this is what our national office staff badges look like. So if you see one of us with one of those badges, we work here, And also our elected leadership do have similar badges to you, and I know that they are always available and willing to hear your thoughts about SBC or anything related to SAME. Okay, so with all that being said, if there are any more questions, if you would like to submit them over the chat functionality. And Mario, any last thoughts that you might have you want to share with the group?
So the only last thought is we all have very, very busy schedules, and we're there for 3 days. And I can't tell you how many times I run into somebody and say, hey, where were you? And I say, oh, I was in my hotel room working on stuff. You're missing a huge opportunity if you spend a whole lot of time other than sleeping in your hotel room. No matter what your deadlines are, try to get those assigned before you get there. And the opportunities that are being presented to you are only presented if you're there to network and visit with people. So don't get caught up in heading back to your hotel room to catch up on day-to-day stuff because you're worried about how much is going to be on your plate when you get back.
That's a great point. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with that. Well, there don't seem to be any further questions. So I want to thank everyone once again for participating on this webinar. This has been recorded, so if you would like to rewatch it or share it with anyone else, you can do that. Don't forget to use the Online Attendee Service Center as your tool. Next week, we will be posting the pre-registered attendee list, so you can see who else will be at the conference. And remember that people are still registering every single day. So if there's somebody who is not on the list, that doesn't mean that they're not going to be there. It just means that they haven't signed up yet, perhaps. So with that, everyone, have a great afternoon. Good luck with your planning, and we will see you for the Small Business Conference in New Orleans, October 31st for November 2nd. Thanks again, and have safe travels. Bye-bye.